It's the provenance. It's the place where something comes from, the place where something originates from. It's something where it started from. The point of origin, the point of beginnings, the point of starting, the point of this, the point of that, the point of you. The provenance is where it began and where it starts and where it always has been. So welcome back. I thought about showing you my monograph book called Lines, and this came out actually 4 years now. I can't believe it came out so long ago. But it's my first art book, it's my first monograph, and really proud of it. It's been out there in the world for a little while. You might even have a copy of it. And I don't think we've ever really looked at that or spoken about that. So let's pull that out. So let's see where that one is. And I think I actually have a few out in the studio that I need to sign. So we can probably try and do that today as well. So let me go in here, look for Lines. Okay, there's a lot of things called Lines. Okay, here we go. So Lines standard edition, and it was made in 2020. So let's pull that out and take a look. Okay, so we have a few copies here of Lines that I'm going to sign. So I like to just put a nice note in them, like a positive phrase or something. So something I like to write a lot is just enjoy life. And then I just do something fun, like a little stick figure or a face. I'm never really sure if I should write the year or the date. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. But I like each one to be different when I'm signing them. Just a little bit unique. And sometimes I don't even spell my name right, so you might have one of those ones out there. So I'm signing all of these books with one of my custom Staedtler pens. It's a Staedtler Lumnicolor Lightfast M-size pen. And you've seen these pop up in lots of my projects and some of the provenances in the past. And so it's just a really easy pen to work with. And when you're doing something like this, it's pretty repetitive. You just need to zone out and just see it as an opportunity to have some meditation time in your life. Because if you start to think about it, you end up spelling things wrong or not doing what you wanted to. So you just have to kind of like zone out and enjoy it. Okay, so let's take a look at this. So this is Shantell Martin Lines. It's my first monograph book, and it was published and released in 2020 in March. Probably the worst time to release a book, but that's what happened. It's published by Henny. And Henny are a UK art book publisher. And they've published books by artists like Gerhard Richter, Damien Hirst, Chapman Brothers, Iggy Pop, and a bunch of interesting other artists. So if you ever have a chance, take a look at the Henny website and see what they've worked on there. So this book probably took a year and a half to put together. And I think the trickiest thing about this book was finding all of the photography from all the different artists that have photographed my work over the last 20 years. It's funny because you just kind of naively think that artists or photographers will hold on to kind of high resolution images forever. But when I started to reach out for photographers that are in this book, people lost files, hard drives were corrupted, people lost hard drives or computers, and so the bulk of this book was chasing down photography and images from photographers. So when you open it up, it starts with an essay. We've got some images, and then there's an essay, and this is by Catherine Stout, who at the time was at the ICA in London. I think she's somewhere else now. And it talks about kind of past work, the work relationship with rules and drawing, and kind of the diversity of the work that I've worked on over the last kind of 25 years of working as an artist. Then the work itself is split up into different sections, and I would say it's almost like chapters in time. So you have earlier work, there's a first chapter there that includes work and collaborations like what I did with my grandmother, drawing in New York, earlier types of drawings. I used to do a lot of sculptural works with found ceramics and marble, so that's all in there. Then there's a chapter about walls, but there's a chapter before that. Let's see what the chapter before that is. Studio work. Okay, so we've got early work, studio work, walls, and then there's a few more really interesting chapters. I think my only thing that I didn't like about this book in a sense is that when we published it, I was working on my project at the Mayroom at that time. And so we managed to get the Mayroom in the book, but only the exterior. And I really wish that we got the interior of the Mayroom in the book because it's actually one of my favorite projects. So if we could go back in time, I probably would have hoped that we could have delayed the book launch a little bit and then got the interior of the Mayroom in here. There is a section here, which is an interview with Hans Ulrich Oberst. I'm sorry, I always pronounce your name wrong. Some people call him Hans U.O. But Hans interviewed me for the book, and for multiple times, for a series of times, I would meet Hans very early in the morning in New York, and he would interview me. And that interview went into the book here in this kind of pink section here that breaks up the book in the middle. So this was a really fun project to work on. It's really nice to see all of the work in one place, the variation of the work, the diversity of the work. And for someone like myself who's not very good at saying, well done, you made something, this is a nice way of seeing some of the projects and the achievements that I've done over time that perhaps I haven't had time to think about or to contemplate. Another interesting thing about the book is that I wanted it to feel awkward in the sense of, like, I didn't want it just to fit nicely on your shelf. I wanted it to stand out. So the book itself, the size, I found the book in a library that I liked, which was this orientation. And so I took that orientation and put it on its side. So when you pull it on a library shelf or your shelf at home, it does kind of stick out a little bit awkwardly. And there's something kind of nice about that. It's always kind of in your peripheral, it's always in your sight. There's two versions of these. There's the standard version, which is this version, and then there was a limited edition version of 100 books where I hand drew on the cover. So a few people have those out there in the world, and I think you still might be able to get your hands on some of those at Henny or via Henny in the UK. But yeah, that's about it. That's Lines. You still can get this, it's out there in the world, and I like to give it to people as a gift here and there, so it's nice to have a book that you can gift and people can add it to their collection.